earlier this week, Discord accounts were stolen, Steam accounts were gone, and this new exploit in modded Minecraft is possibly as dangerous as the Log4j incident. But instead of that, people were debating about this new EULA, and actual players lost their accounts, and it's as if no one cared. This is a deep dive and an investigation into Bleedingpipe, a new exploit, a 0-day exploit that doesn't need your permission to run code and programs to steal all your data. And later in this video, we will show you what actually happens when you get hacked and talk to the first person that it happened to. So strap in folks, because this time we are diving very deep into this new history block of Minecraft. Why is Bleedingpipe, the exploit being talked about, more dangerous than the malware infecting your PC? Well, it's because it doesn't need to infect anything. See, Fracturizer worked by downloading itself via an infected mod onto your computer. Basically, it was a Trojan horse. But with Pipe, you don't need to download anything. If you are running modded Minecraft as a server, then you are targetable. In other words, if Fracturizer is a virus, Bleedingpipe is a bullet. One stroke of a keyboard and you lose your Discord, Steam, and anything else you might be logged into. And the scary part? It can't really be detected by antiviruses. Only a dedicated group of researchers like the Mmpa, who made this blog post and likely endangered a lot of people by not doing it right, and Serialization is Bad, who made this GitHub page that you should really read. But enough scaremongering now. The fact is, if you are not playing mods from 1.12 or lower, the chances are that you're likely not at risk. And likely is the keyword here, as it's not an issue with Forge itself, but Java. And some mods as late as 1.20 have been found to be affected. But why is it important now? I mean, 1.12 was released in 2017, so why care about it now? Well, according to my community, a sizable amount of people still play 1.12.2 mod packs to this day. And by the way, I do a lot of community polls and posts, so if you want to be part of my videos, be sure to check out that tab. Well, apparently it could theoretically be exploited in newer versions of the same mod too, as this isn't just a Minecraft exploit. Like the Log4j incident, this is a wider issue with Java itself, as it is the ObjectInputStream or OIS that is causing issues, which is too in-depth for this YouTube video. But basically, just see it as your insecure piece of code. This insecure piece of code is usually used to communicate between you and the server, but it can also be used by malicious users to launch code on your client. In other words, it's kind of like a 0-day exploit. Actually, in fact, it is a 0-day exploit, as it can take over your computer. But this has been around since 2013 and had been discovered in the Java world way earlier than 2013. Why did no one fix this? Well, to be honest, the majority of developers just didn't care. I mean, who cares about an old version of your mod that got exploited? And to be honest, I would be the same. We can't expect a volunteer developer who makes their mods out of fun to update their 7-year-old mod because of a vague exploit that has never been done before. But let's actually take a look as to what happens when you get exploited. This video, released by Yoyoyopo, currently has 757 views as of writing, which is absolutely nuts when you realize what happens in it. So as you can see, he's just walking around on his public server having fun, when DevMod joins the stream and gets the public IP, after which they join the server themselves under another name. After 10 minutes, they get raided by Rusanon, who likely is an accomplice. And here it begins. Now, these visuals on the screen are not by the hacker, by the way. It's just how he runs his stream. He has a little website for it, it's very cool. But let's skip a little bit forward, because here is where the fun ends, as both him and the other player on that server lose their Discord accounts and get their login data put in the chat. Now put yourself in his position. You're just having fun, and as he told it, he was getting near the end of a long playthrough of a mod pack he liked. And then boom, your afternoon fun turns into a worst nightmare as the hacker tells Yoyoyopo to check his folder for a file, and it's actually there. Now I've tracked down Yoyoyopo and had an interview with him and asked permission to use his video in mine. But I do wanted to say thank you to Yoyoyopo to share his experience with me.
We get raided by a streamer named Rusanon, which is he's like a Russian Minecraft streamer. We get raided and they're like, is it an open server? And I'm like, yeah, of course. And invited him in, and this player joins the server. This, what we now know is a malicious player, joined the server, and for a while just walking around looking at things, and then I guess they just kind of walked off and nobody really noticed. And 10 minutes later, they're like, go to these coordinates, and I go to the coordinates and there's like a ton of like creative mode items and stuff, like end game stuff that we definitely haven't unlocked yet. And I was at first I was like, okay, so I'm guessing there's some like exploit where you can get yourself into creative mode or whatever, or like there's some weird thing with JEI or something. So after that, he started sending like the server started sending messages to the game chat as server, like somebody had typed it into the server console. And that's when I was like, oh shit.
The hacker has told Yoyoyopo that he is the first to find this exploit and use it, which is incredible when you realize it has been in Java for over 10 years. Luckily, the hacker wasn't too malicious this time and gave back his account with no issue. This doesn't excuse the fact that he basically ruined someone's day, but this is the cost of not fixing these things. Unsuspecting people who want to play their favorite mod pack are gonna get invaded and pwned. Hell, I love Tekkit Classic. I play it from time to time, and I'm scared this will happen to me if I make a server. But why is no one else? Let me roll a clip of my interview with Yoyoyopo about the community's reaction when he showed them what happened.
That's the thing that just confused me the most, was like, I thought we had been zero day. I thought this was something that nobody had known about. Based on what when I started Googling it, when I was trying to find anything at all, saying there's an exploit here, I could not find anything until somebody eventually came to me with a GitHub issue that has probably been viewed like a dozen or so times of, hey, there's an exploit here. And the mod author's like, well, I'm not going to fix it for this version, but I have it fixed in the newer version. And it's like, you know how many people play 1.12 mod packs? Like, that's like a really popular version for mod packs. First, people were very like suspicious. They were like, okay, it's probably not a problem with Minecraft. It's, yeah, or, you're not using the most updated version of the mod pack. I think I was like one experimental version behind or something. They didn't really trust that there was anything going on. And so I put the VOD out, or the video, and had it unlisted. The majority of people I talked to were very much like not that interested in it or didn't think it was that big of a deal. But I guess there were other people behind the scenes that I didn't know about. So once they saw the video, more people were definitely like, oh shit. Okay.
This whole thing could have been prevented if they had taken it more seriously. And I'm torn between, should we even blame the hobby devs for this? Or should the blame be on this not being widely known? And when someone comes forward with this sort of massive thing, why are we so quick to brush it aside and focus on other things like the EULA changing? So what should you do? Well, until all mods are fixed, either private your server with a whitelist or use pipe blockers. Because server scanners like Oppenheimer are widespread now, and you can easily modify them to tell you if a server is running outdated software and if it's running one of the vulnerable mods that have not been patched yet. And pipe blocker, while effective, I don't really trust a single plugin to keep me safe at all. After all, this comes from the people who put millions of people at risk because they published early without a solution. Like, I know when an exploit gets found, it's usually not the etiquette to publicize immediately out of fear of people being targeted against. So why didn't they do that? I can see the comments already coming. Oh, but just don't play online and you're safe. But well, that's not the point. The point is, we had a giant gaping hole in Minecraft code and we didn't fix it. Another thing I hear a lot is, oh, it's only 1.12. But can you really guarantee that? Have you gone through every mod and checked if it doesn't use OIS? And are you really going to sit there and check it? Because I'm not. And you aren't either. We just want to play our little block game. Nothing prevents OIS from being used in Minecraft. And there's a lot of devs out there who are self-taught and they often don't know the danger of these classes. But what if I told you this goes even further than 1.12? Because any mod developer who just keeps OIS in the mod is putting people at risk. But maybe it's not every mod entirely. See, not all mods are vulnerable, as they do need to pass data into the serializer. If it doesn't do that, you are safe. But then again, you can easily trick the server into doing that. But there are new mods being developed to stop this exploit from happening. Pipe blocker being a good example. But after all I've just said, I think this is actually a good showcase of an exploit being handled wrong. And not by the people who abused it, but by the people not recognizing it and taking the steps to ensure it doesn't happen again. So what's the conclusion of all this? Are devs just lazy, not fixing their software earlier? Is Java to blame? Well, it's neither. I don't think we should start blaming people who do modding as a hobby, but we need to take steps in order to get more people to recognize the dangers of this exploit. All you can know for sure right now is that if you're playing modded Minecraft, have pipe blocker installed. And make sure you're subscribed for some more. Oh, and if you're already going to sub to me, go subscribe to Yoyoyopo. He's pretty cool. But for now, I was Lunar, you've been awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.